Europe's borders have changed a lot over centuries. Empires rose and fell, alliances shifted. Europe's map has always been in flux. Today, we're diving into a map of Europe from 500 years ago. What did it look like then? Who was in charge? What major events shaped it? Let's start with the Balkans. Today, you've got Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Greece, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Romania, Serbia, Slovenia, and a bit of Turkey and Kosovo. Quick note, Kosovo's statehood is still debated internationally. Serbia, backed by Russia and China, still claims it. But 500 years ago, almost all of this region was ruled by the Ottoman Empire. In 1522, the Ottomans laid siege to Rhodes. The Knights of St. John held it. After a tough fight, the Ottomans let the Knights go, and they ended up in Malta. In 1530, the Knights of Malta got the islands from the Holy Roman Emperor. His price? An annual Maltese falcon fee. A falcon? Seriously? While the Ottomans were busy in Southeast Europe, Spain and Portugal were off exploring and colonizing the New World, building huge empires. The Aztec Empire was actually a loose group of city-states, and their people were also battling smallpox, brought by the Spanish. With better weapons, smart alliances, and the devastating disease, the Spanish wiped out the Aztec Empire in 1521. What's now Spain was a bunch of kingdoms, but they united under one king. Charles V inherited it all through family and clever politics. He was a Habsburg, a seriously powerful European dynasty. His empire was massive: the Holy Roman Empire, Spain, the Netherlands, Naples, Sicily, and colonies in the Americas. The Holy Roman Empire itself was complicated. It wasn't one nation, but a bunch of territories. The emperor had limited power. Regional rulers were the real bosses. Bohemia and Austria, for instance, were part of it, but also strong, separate powers. To keep things manageable, I won't cover every single spot. Here's a general look. Hungary used to be way bigger than it is now, back when King Matthias Corvinus ruled. Matthias did amazing things, but like most successful kings, he died without an heir. Hungary started to weaken by the end of the century. Internal fights and weak leaders did them in. In 1526, the Hungarian army was crushed by the Ottomans. Their king died in battle, leading to more power struggles and land splits. Today, Romania and Moldova look like this. But 500 years ago, it was very different. Wallachia, in what's now southern Romania, was an independent principality from the early 14th century. They famously fought off the Ottomans under Vlad the Impaler. You know, the guy with the harsh methods. For much of the 15th century, the Principality of Moldova sometimes bowed to Poland. But eventually, both principalities paid tribute and offered military support to the Ottoman Empire, keeping some control over their own affairs. Central Europe? Kind of a mess, just like the Holy Roman Empire. Italy wasn't unified at all. It was a mosaic of city-states, republics, and kingdoms. Big players included the Papal States, the Kingdom of Naples, the Duchy of Milan, Venice, and Florence, all fighting for control. The Italian Wars, 1494 to 1559, dominated this era. France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire were all involved, often using Italian states for their own gain. The Papal States were lands ruled directly by the Pope. He often profited from these wars, trying to grab more land and power. In northeast Italy, the Republic of Venice was booming, thanks to its strong navy and trade routes. Corsica, now part of France, was controlled by Genoa. The Genoese started the world's first banks and funded many Spanish ventures. The House of Savoy was one of Europe's oldest royal families, ruling the Duchy of Savoy and other lands. France was a major power under the Valois dynasty, but its borders weren't as big as they are today. In 1491, Duchess and of Brittany married King Charles VIII of France. Even with the marriage, Brittany kept a lot of its independence. It wasn't until 1532 that Brittany officially became part of France. France was a hub for culture, ideas, and art, but also for conflict, especially with the Habsburgs. In 1525, their push into Italy failed. Charles V's forces captured the French king. France had to give up its claims in Italy and Flanders. The Teutonic Order, or Knights, were a medieval military and religious group important in the Baltic region. They arrived in the early 13th century, aiming to convert pagans and spread Christianity in Eastern Europe. They set up headquarters in what's now Poland and expanded aggressively, fighting Prussians, Lithuanians, and other Baltic tribes. But their rule in Prussia ended in 1525. The Grand Master, influenced by Protestantism, dissolved the order and took its lands as his own secular duchy. Livonia then became a loose collection of semi-independent areas. Poland and Lithuania were already in a personal union after a marriage. In 1569, they officially joined forces. It was one of Europe's largest and most populous countries. Modern-day Russia didn't exist yet. In the 15th century, Muscovy was on the rise. As it consolidated power, it absorbed smaller principalities and broke free from Mongol rule. Muscovy expanded, but was constantly hit by Crimean Tatar raids. These raids hurt the economy and strained its military. The Crimean Khanate, also from the old Golden Horde, became a vassal of the Ottoman Empire, though with some autonomy. Portugal's borders look pretty much the same as 500 years ago. Why? They haven't changed much since they were established. But like Spain, Portugal was at its peak of global power. They built an empire spanning 3 continents. They capitalized on their early explorations, creating vast colonies and trading posts. Spices and exotic goods poured in, making Portugal one of Europe's richest nations. In Scandinavia, we have Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark today. In 1523, Gustav Vasa became king. This wasn't just a new leader. It was the end of the centuries-old Kalmar Union that had linked Sweden, Denmark, and Norway since 1397. The Kalmar Union was meant to unite these Nordic kingdoms under one ruler, boosting their power and defense. But by the early 16th century, the Union was crumbling. Sweden's influence and power had waned under the Union. The Swedish nobles were fed up with the Danish king's rule. Then came the Stockholm bloodbath, a brutal massacre of Swedish nobles, ordered by the Danish king. In 1523, the Kalmar Union was officially dissolved. Sweden became independent, also taking control of what's now Finland. The Union of Denmark-Norway continued, with other territories under its control. Sweden's power faded in the Kalmar Union. Swedish nobles were fed up with Denmark's king. Then came the Stockholm bloodbath, a brutal murder of Swedish nobles. The Danish king ordered it. The Kalmar Union ended in 1523. Sweden was free, even ruling over Finland. Denmark-Norway stayed a union, grabbing more land, including Iceland and Greenland. Denmark also ruled over what's now Schleswig and Holstein. Schleswig was Danish, while Holstein was in the Holy Roman Empire. Both answered to the Danish king. Westward, in the British Isles, we now see the UK. It's made of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland shares a border with the Republic of Ireland. 500 years ago, England was all about Henry VIII, his split from the Catholic Church, and the English Reformation. Henry VIII's reign and his break from the Catholic Church defined England. England conquered Wales in 1284, but Scotland stayed a free kingdom up north. King James V ruled, keeping Scotland's own monarchy and laws. Henry VIII claimed all of Ireland for England. But really, he only controlled a small area called the Pale. Most of Ireland was split among several Irish kingdoms.